At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Yes, this is a Hardcore Grind interview with fashion designer and entrepreneur Shawnte Baker. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Oh my God, this is going to be so great. I always like to ask about a goal moment first, right? Because a goal moment is really when thought and execution come together. A lot of times we're really mindful about other people, how they're pouring into themselves, thinking about themselves, pushing their dreams forward. And a lot of times when we're referring to ourselves or thinking about doing things for ourselves, it's either I can't do it right now or there's some lack there. There's some fear, and we kind of have lukewarm movement. What was your goal moment when you decided to go into fashion?
Yes, well, I always knew, actually, as a young child that I wanted to be a fashion designer. I love to draw. So as a kid, I was always honing in on my art, drawing. I kind of got into sewing a little bit as far as like trying to make my own doll clothes and things like that. When I was in high school, I found out that I was really good in other things. I really loved science and I loved math, but I kept coming back to art and I kept coming back to fashion. And I'm just really happy, too, that I had a really supportive parents. And when I told my mom I wanted to be a fashion designer, this was back in the early 90s when people didn't really understand what that meant. They knew we wore clothes, but they didn't really know what it meant to be a fashion designer. And I'm just really thankful that my mom was like, well, if this is what you want to do, I trust your opinion and, the goals that you set for yourself. And, yeah, I will help you find, what that trajectory looks like. We went and visited different colleges, and I ended up, ultimately graduating from the University of Cincinnati with a degree in fashion design and a degree in merchandising and buying.
Oh, wow. So your mom was your biggest support system as you were pursuing your dream.
Yeah, she really was. And even to this day, my mom still comes to my boutique and is willing to help out. She loves to go to market shows with me and help sell, although my mom is really buying other people's products, but she's always been such a supporter, and she loves going to the different markets. And when we go to, like, the big shows in Vegas and we do buying trips, I always have my mom with me because, she definitely is my rock.
Absolutely. Now, what inspires your design when you're out and you're creating? What inspires that process?
Well, I think after I worked in the fashion industry for a really long time, I think I saw what wasn't happening in the industry, how certain people's bodies weren't being looked at and how clothes aren't always fitting people. So I really started to hone in on clothing that could really help women who have different curvier body types and finding things that really fit and work in our types of lifestyles. So I do get inspired definitely by the culture, by the richness of things that are going on in this world. But really, more than anything, moms inspire me, women inspire me, Black women inspire me. And so I really look to find things that I feel will complement, us, our skin tones, clothes that'll fit our bodies and our curves, and then that just work within our busy lifestyle to help us feel confident and good in our own bodies.
Absolutely. Listen, I was watching TikTok, and they have this TikTok going around from, I think it's China, and it was showing how they make jeans. And it was like, it wasn't even fitted for a person. It was like a puffy thing that they slide the jeans on. And I'm like, this is why your jeans don't fit comfortably, because it ain't even a person. It's a whole computer and some puffy stuff, look like potato sacks. I said, this is why our pants do not be fitting right.
Right, and I work for a lot of different companies in the industry, and I mean, we do fit on actual people, and we do fit on, various sizes, plus sizes, small sizes, trying to get the fit right. And every person is unique, God created everybody individually, and so we all have different types of curves. The industry is getting better with having different stretchy materials to help things fit, but in reality, there is a size model that we fit things on, and it doesn't always size up correctly for various people, in our world, especially when it comes to ethnic models and people who have different types of curves. So, there's still a lot going on in the fashion industry. There's a lot of things that are happening that are making things better, but we still have a ways to go to really find a way to fit lots of different body types and really get that good fit that we all feel like we deserve.
Absolutely. So with that, I'm going to ask, if you could change anything in the fashion industry, what would it be and why?
Well, definitely that's a loaded question, being that, even in my short 20 years of working in the industry, I have been through a lot of ups and downs, as well as worked for a lot of different major corporations. And I am starting to see some changes. But I really do want more inclusivity in the fashion industry, having more ethnic designers, having more opportunities for people to be designers. I know back in the day, for me to go to college, at the time, most fashion design degrees were 5-year degrees, and having the money to be able to afford all the materials and supplies you need to go to college for fashion design, and then working in the industry. It can be a real hard industry to get in and to stay in. There also aren't a lot of opportunities throughout the entire United States, so you kind of have to be willing to work in certain pockets. So I really do hope that in the future, as the fashion industry becomes more inclusive, as well as trying to be more sustainable, that there will continue to be opportunities and doors open for minorities.
Absolutely. And what are some of the challenges that you face being a minority designer in the United States?
I would say some of the challenges that I did face, which really did kind of propel me to where I am today, was when I would try to speak up and say things like, well, that's great that this fits, this person, or that these jeans are going to fit her. But when it comes to someone like me, even though I'm a small person, but I'm curvy, I'm going to get that gap in the back. These things aren't going to quite fit everyone. Is there something that we can do? And it was kind of hard because you want to speak up, but then you didn't really feel like your voice was being heard. That definitely was some challenges I had in the beginning. I would say when I was working later in my career, working for a major company like Macy's, I did feel like they started to be a little bit more understanding and would listen and say, is there a way we can work on this? Maybe let's have everybody in the office, when we have a diverse office, let's have everybody try those jeans on, and let's see what kind of tweaks we can understand just from maybe this small pool of people who are different curvier sizes, and see what we can do to improve upon, some of the fits and maybe the way clothes are made so that they can be more inclusive.
I love it. I love it. Now, how do you stay up to date on all of the latest fashion trends and industry news?
Oh, I definitely am one of those ones who likes to be up on all of the things that are going on in the fashion industry. I definitely read a lot of articles. I follow a lot of the various magazines, as well as some of the famous designers. I like to know what's going in the high end and the couture. Obviously, right now, in the entertainment and the celebrities, they are kind of ruling fashion right now, which is kind of awesome to see, that there are a lot of actresses and actors and singers who are really doing well, and they are pushing and moving fashion forward, which is great. to see, and just kind of staying up on that, as well as understanding what's going on with fabrics and factories and some of the new processes. There's a lot of AI that's happening in fashion right now, and being able to design virtually and digitally to help us to be a little bit more sustainable is interesting, as well as with all this virtual reality and virtual games like designing clothes in a virtual reality. Has been really interesting to learn about. So I'm trying to stay up on my fashion knowledge and really kind of be in the know of what's going on, because it's always ever-changing.
Absolutely. Now, when you're creating, how do you ensure that your designs are both fashionable and functional at the same time?
Well, like I was saying, I really try to hone in on the customer that I'm designing for. I mean, being that I am here in Cincinnati, Ohio, even though I do have a website and I sell to, anyone all over the United States who wants to make a purchase, I am thinking more about my core customer, her lifestyle, and what she's going through. I mean, I'm married, I'm a mom, I have that busy lifestyle. As you get older, our bodies change. I want to make sure that I'm really thinking about that woman. She still looks good, she wants to feel good, and she wants clothes that she feels like she can put on and put together and really make her own statement. I have ladies who come into my boutique all the time, and they tell me about they just had babies, or maybe they just started menopause, or that, different things have happened in their life, and they're trying to go through these changes but still look good and feel good about themselves. And more than anything, I want my designs to help my clients feel good about themselves, which is really why I started adding alterations and doing more alterations, because clothes don't always fit. You can get them altered to make them fit you better.
Absolutely. Now, you are the owner of Stylish Nilini's Boutique, and that, again, is in Cincinnati, Ohio. How has that been for you? Tell us a little bit about that journey, because you left the fashion industry to pursue your own.
Yes. Well, I always tell people, well, when you're from Ohio, it seems like you always come back to Ohio. But I did, after college, I left. I went to New York. I was a designer for a lot of different major companies in New York. But my husband and I, both being from Ohio, and after having kids, we decided to come back home so that we could be here for our families, and needing to kind of help take care of our parents as they aged. And when we came back to Cincinnati, Ohio, it was kind of like, well, what will I do? There's not a big fashion industry here. There is one percolating, but there's not as much going on. And I said I would love to have my own boutique where I can really cater my designs to my custom clients and my clientele, and really kind of maybe showcase more of what I think I would want, kind of maybe for my average everyday lady who, wants to be able to be stylish and just needs a little help pulling it together. And that's how Stylish Nilini's Boutique was born, just able to bring all of my knowledge and my industry experience, and being able to curate clothing as well as design clothing that I really felt was needed for my community.
Absolutely. Now, there's a heavy cost in pursuing your vision and pulling everything together. What advice would you give up-and-coming fashion designers that want to enter into the industry?
Yes, it can be very challenging to be a new designer. And what I'm also learning is that there are different niches within an industry. So being a fashion designer and being a boutique owner, after having my boutique for 4 years, I've learned that is two completely separate and different things. You can be a boutique owner and sell clothing, and you can also be a designer and have your own line and sell clothing. And when you meet and do both of them at the same time, it does kind of have its own challenges, because as you're running a business, there's a lot of things you have to do behind the scenes. There's a lot of business that has to be taken care of when you just want to be creative and do your creative thing and have all your creative juices flowing and making fabulous things. And sometimes you have to be able to bring those two sides of your brain together and mesh them, and you're kind of almost sometimes warring within yourself. So even though it may not be the easiest thing to do, I say if you're up for the challenge, then definitely do it. If you want to only have a clothing line and not have a store, then that could be another way to do it without having the challenges of having a store. But it was just the path that I chose, and although there has been lots of ups and downs, I am on my 4th year and hoping to continue it on and grow into bigger and better things.
I love it. I love it. Now, you recently had a fashion show. How was that?
Oh yes. Now I love having a fashion show. I can't lie. I think most people who do fashion, you want to be able to celebrate it and show your designs. And so with the pandemic, it kind of lessened us having fashion shows. We were having them like twice a year, and then when the pandemic happened and things just got a little crazy, we didn't have any fashion shows. So I ended up doing someone else's fashion show, meaning I was just a participant in someone else's fashion show last year. But this year was the first year I brought back having a fashion show that was specifically only for me. I'm the only designer. It was just only my show, celebrating some of my custom pieces as well as highlighting my 4th anniversary here at the boutique. And it was amazing. Some of my really supportive customers were there. Of course, my mom was there helping out, working like she always does, and my husband. And it really was a great show. We had a great time.
I love it. I love it. Now, you teach as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so one of the things that I started doing just this year is decided to, use some of my skill sets and give back. I had a lot of people asking about they wanted to learn how to sew, and really it's a skill that's not taught as much in your early years. I know back when I was a kid, we had like home ec or you have 4-H, and everyone learned at least how to sew a button on. So as I had a couple customers and people inquiring, I said, you know what, I think I'm going to do it. So this summer we had a sewing camp. I started with kids ages 7 to 12, and it was great. I ended up having 8 girls, and we made skirts, we made dresses. They learned how to sketch. So it was just really fun teaching them, and I had a lot of adults also inquire. So it looks like next year we'll start having some more adult classes or classes that'll just kind of be open-aged. It won't be like for a specific age, because people are wanting to know how to upcycle their own clothes, how to hem their own pants. And I think these are great skills to have, and I'm happy to be able to, add that extra service business onto my current business and teaching those, I think, great, skills.
Absolutely. Now, what's next? You teach. You have your own fashion line. You have the creative chops to be able to do so much. What is next for Shawnte Baker?
Yes. Well, I am hoping that I can continue to grow. I would love to be able to increase the reach, with my sewing classes and being able to reach more people. Hopefully in the future, if that side of my business does grow, I will need a bigger space because I do have a smaller space right now. So I think the future for me would be to continue to grow my clothing line, continue to use my skills to teach fashion design as well as sewing, and as we continue to grow, in space so that I can continue to reach out to more people and share my gifts with the world.
I love it. Now, throughout your journey, you've been encouraged in so many different ways. What is a quote or a saying that has stuck with you throughout your journey?
Oh, yes. There is a great quote, and it's actually on one of the T-shirts that I sell at my store, and it was actually one of the first T-shirts I decided to put on my little T-shirt line. It says, "Faith does not make things easy, it makes them possible."
Oh,
and
you bet. I just said a word.
Yes, and everyone who comes in and they see the shirt, they're like, oh, yes. And I'm just like, there's days I'm walking through my store and things aren't going great. And I just have to remind myself to be faithful. There's times when things are amazing, and I'm just like, oh, that's great. And, sometimes I still lose faith because then I'm upset because I'm like, oh, I don't know where this is going to go. But as long as I've been able to keep the faith, I know that things can be possible as long as I am faithful. And that is the thing that has just kept me through, these 4 years.
You better talk that talk.
Yeah.
You better talk that talk. I love it. We so appreciate you coming to spend your time, your space, and your energy with us. I want you to shout out all of your social media and your website where everybody can contact you and be able to see your fabulous designs.
Yes, that would be great. So I am Shawnte Barker, and I am the owner of Stylish Lenise Boutique. And you can shop at stylishleniseboutique.com. You can reach us on Instagram at stylish_Lenise Boutique. Also on Facebook at stylishleniseboutique.com. And just recently on TikTok at Shawnte Lenise.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
At Kroger, shopping with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in-store. Same low prices, deals, and rewards on the same high-quality items. It's one small click for groceries, one big win for busy families everywhere. Start your cart today at Kroger.com. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.